everyone and Happy New Year's Eve. I'm so excited to be filming this video. I've had this fantastic year and I hope you've had a wonderful year as well. I had, I think, 4 things which I think went really well this year. Health. I had no major health issues this year and my loved ones are all healthy and happy, so that's good. My boyfriend Julian and I are so happy, that's number 2. His love is just sustains me every single day. It's been so wonderful to spend this year with him and hopefully many years to come. Number 3 is a trip to London. I went to London over the Christmas period and that was absolutely wonderful. It was a gift to myself. It's one of my favourite cities. I lived there for a year and I lived in Oxford for another year as well, which was very close to London. And I hadn't been to London, actually. I lived in Paris and I hadn't been to London since 2019, so before COVID. Even though I used to go there at least twice a year because it's one of my favourite cities ever. I think Oxford, or kind of the countryside, like an English countryside town, would be my ideal place to live, but second best to London I think is a very good second best. So I do like Paris, aspects of Paris, but I absolutely devoted to London. So I went to London and I went for a few things. I stayed there for 4 days at an absolutely gorgeous hotel which made me feel like home. They were so caring and so lovely to me, and the place was absolutely beautiful and just decked out for Christmas, absolutely gorgeous. London is so magical at Christmas time as well. And I went to see The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie. That was my first time seeing it on stage. It was wonderful, the cast was superb and I loved the play. I loved the costumes and the settings and the props and the plot as well, but yeah, the costumes and setting and the props were just absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely loved that. I also went to see Six, the musical, which I've been a huge fan of the soundtrack ever since it came out, I think in 2019. And having an album on repeat and then seeing it on stage as a musical is absolutely amazing. Highly recommend. So I saw Six on stage, even though it's actually kind of more of a concert as opposed to a musical. It's a musical, but there is hardly any plot really. It's just really catchy songs on stage, and that was absolutely wonderful. It was really hard actually because they had no dancing, no singing policy, which I completely understand. You have to respect the audience and you have to respect your neighbours, but it was really hard not to sing and dance during the entire thing. There was just one little moment at the end where they invited the audience to get up and clap with them, but it was really hard throughout to just contain my excitement because I'm not a wiggly sort of person, but yeah, I can be on a seat in a civilized way. So it was very much a civilized concert, I would say, as opposed to the party that I thought the songs really deserved. So it was a bit different from what I expected, I suppose. It was more, you know, it was quieter, calmer, from the audience perspective at least, but yeah, but it was still very good. My best friend actually is a huge fan of Six, so, and I was there without her, so she was very much in my thoughts throughout. So yeah, absolutely loved it. I also went to the Charles Dickens Museum, which was very close to my hotel, and that was unexpected as well. I think I would like to do it again with a guided tour. I love guided tours. I love visiting places, monuments, museums, places of interest with a tour guide. Really, I love storytelling. I love being told stories, and this one was just me, and it's a place where Charles Dickens lived, and they've got a lot of things which are in situ, and like his bed and his bedroom, and you just explore the rooms of the house. I had the audio guide on, that was very helpful and that was really good, but I thought it would be more, that's completely my fault, but next time I think I would like to do it in a way that's more immersive and has a lot more, I don't know, someone just telling me a story really, because it was good on my own, and the room's actually so well preserved, and they managed to do such a good job of it, of explaining everything that went on and everything that you could see. But it was very much about his life, and what really pushed me to go and book a visit to Charles Dickens Museum were was not really his life, it was his works and his novels. I had just finished my audio reading of Bleak House this year, after being such a huge fan of the miniseries, of the 2005 miniseries since 2005. I've been a huge fan of it. I watched at least twice a year. I've been watching it twice a year since it was released, and so yeah, that's what got me into Dickens, really his works, his novels. So I didn't really know much about his life at all, and the house was really about his life. I thought the dining room was very impressive. His library was just so, oh my god, it was magical, really. I always love seeing other people's libraries, and a Victorian library at that was just absolutely wonderful. His desk, there was a painting called Dickens's Dream, which I thought was absolutely striking, and it shows Dickens on his desk really imagining all of the characters and the stories that he's going to write. And it's a painting, it's a painting. I was going to say it's a sketch, because it's not, I don't think it's finished, but it was just there on his desk, and oh wow, so striking. And yeah, it made me want to read more Dickens. More about that in a second. Yeah, I went to do that. I went to the Twinings shop on the Strand. Absolutely gorgeous. I had a very small suitcase which broke when I came back home, so I need to buy another one. But I had a very small suitcase, tiny suitcase, and one of my mothers-in-law requested a specific teacup from Fortnum & Mason. That was my first stop, and it took up half of my suitcase. I had no place for souvenirs whatsoever, so I had a very limited space coming back, so I had to restrict myself really. I bought a few things from the Twinings tea shop. A colleague had requested specific biscuits, which I got for her, and for myself I wanted to buy the whole shop. And I'm definitely going to go back and do a tea tasting. They do tea tastings, I think, in the basement. They do tea tastings, and they also do masterclasses, tea masterclasses, which we've also got in Paris with Maria Schrer. But this one is with Twinings, so it's better. So anyway, I bought two things. I bought a tin of Christmas tea. This one is so good. I love Christmas tea types of tea, which usually involve cloves and cinnamon, sometimes orange. They go the citrus way, but this one has got a bit of ginger, I think, and that's what makes it so good. This is, frankly, it's very sharp, it's very bright. That's what makes it such a good tea. I love this tea, and I'm definitely going to buy a refill online, I think, when this is over, because I don't want to give it up really. So I bought this one. I also bought Gingerbread Joy. My favourite type of tea is black tea, so I bought Gingerbread Joy. I wanted to buy all of their special Christmas teas, holiday teas, but I just didn't have the space, so I had to make a choice. Naturally flavoured black tea with ginger and cinnamon. This one is very different actually. It sounds the same, but it's completely different. This one is more mellow, and this one is kind of more bright and sharp and not fully faint at heart. I love this one. I love this one too, but I really love this one. Okay, from the Charles Dickens Museum, I bought this, the museum exclusive copy of A Christmas Carol. Their shop didn't have much really, and it didn't have that many of his works. I was expecting I don't know, special editions of Bleak House and perhaps some of his other works as well. Bleak House is my favourite right now, because it's the only one I've read cover to cover except from A Christmas Carol. And yeah, they didn't really have that, but they did have this museum exclusive copy of A Christmas Carol, which is actually illustrated. So I'll show you an illustration if I can find it. Yeah, the first of the three spirits. So it's illustrated throughout. It's a very small copy, and they also stamp it for you, which I really like. So here, got my little Charles Dickens stamp. He's right here. Ex-libris. I'm going to add my name to it. Oh, these are actually in colour, full colour. There we go. And I also got myself a bookmark as well. So it's a very tiny copy. Oh, here we go. which actually is Dickens's Dream, part of Dickens's Dream, the painting I was telling you about. Sorry about the camera. So here you go, you've got Charles Dickens thinking about all of the characters and stories that he wrote. Dickens's Dream by Robert William Buss. Robert Buss, an admirer of Charles Dickens's writings, painting the piece 5 years after the author's death. Filled with characters from his books, the scene is set in his library at Gad's Hill, based on the engraving The Empty Chair by Luke Field. Yeah, that was very impressive in person, actually. It's massive, so I bought that. I also went to the Harry Potter studio tours, of course. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. That was my second time going. Last time was in, again, 2019. And it was marvellous, really. It was also for Hogwarts in the Snow, which is their special display of Hogwarts Castle in the snow, and the entire thing really is based around snow and winter. It's perfect for the holidays. It was absolutely magical. I cried 3 times. I won't say anything about it. If you haven't been, you should. It's all of the props and costumes and sets which were used for the movie, which they rescued and put together to give you a full tour. They recommend about 3 hours to do the entire tour. I think I did it in a little more than that. But yeah, absolutely amazing. It's outside of London. I went by coach. And yeah, just so good. They also have got they've got stops throughout where you can buy, sorry about the camera, where you can buy food and drinks, and they had frozen butterbeer, which I think is a new addition there. You only used to be able to get frozen butterbeer, I think, at the Universal Studio parks, so that was a huge highlight. It's so good, actually. I like the frozen version better than the rest of them. And yeah, the tour was absolutely superb. I cried 3 times in 3 different specific places. And yeah, I can't wait to take my boyfriend there. And I bought one souvenir, which I'm so proud of, actually, because I don't really like, usually, it takes a lot for me to buy Harry Potter merch. I'm so specific. I'm so, yeah, I'm so specific about it. And I really want quality things. Yeah, so it takes a lot for me to buy something, but I saw something there in the gift shop which I absolutely needed to buy, and that's this golden snitch ring. So it's it's sterling silver and gold plated snitch. Yes, I had to buy it. There are 3 sizes, small, medium and large, and I got the medium, which fits perfectly, as you can see. So yeah, my silver snitch, which I'm never going to remove, and yeah, absolutely thrilled. Really good trip to London. The restaurants were absolutely wonderful as well. I highly recommend, if you want an American steakhouse in London, if you love meat like I do. I'm a huge fan of meat and huge fan of beef and steak, and I had Snake River Farms Wagyu sirloin, which was chef's kiss, at Smith and Wollensky. At Smith and Wollensky. Incredible service as well. Such a great experience. I booked it ages ago. I was so happy to go. Amazing. It's just the marbling, actually, and the fact you get, it's just so flavorful. It reminded me of game, really, of venison. So flavorful. That was my first experience of Snake River Farms meat, and it would not be the last. Trust me, I'm going to track this meat. It's so good. If you love meat. Truffle mac and cheese, amazing. Eggs Benedict, amazing as well. I had a really good wine as well that I paired it with. I love full-bodied wine, full-bodied red wines, actually, it's my favourite. Bizarrely, I love full-bodied reds and dessert whites. Go figure. But I had a full-bodied red, which was the Syrah, I think it's called, and that was the Coq Volant, which is a French wine, and that was absolutely excellent. Actually, my server was just so good. And then for Sunday roast, I highly recommend going to England. If you're visiting England, I highly recommend going at least on a Sunday. Somewhere in your trip should be a Sunday, because Sunday roast is a huge thing about England that I absolutely love. And I went to, what was it called? It was in Chelsea, It was very far from me. I had to take an Uber there, and we went through a district which had all millionaire houses. It was amazing. It was like Bridgeton, really. It was like Grosvenor Square, absolutely gorgeous. And I went to 50 Shane, which was very fancy, very elegant, gorgeous, and my server wasn't as good as Smith and Wollensky. They were okay, but I was here for the food. Definitely, I was here for the food. The place was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It felt like a house, really. The interior decorating was period, and they had paintings on the walls that I wanted to touch, in the fireplace as well, and gorgeous stuff. Really, you felt really cozy. It's just that this, I don't know, serving team wasn't as good, as inviting, I would say, as welcoming as Smith and Wollensky were. They were absolutely incredible. Anyway, I had a Sunday roast with Yorkshire puddings, and I would highly recommend just asking to pour your own gravy, because I don't put as much gravy as I would like. I think gravy should be everywhere. It should be drowned in gravy, and when they pour it for you, it's just do it very daintily, and that's not how I am. So I asked to pour my own gravy. After a while, it was so good. The bone marrow was excellent as well. The vegetables were really, really good as well. Just the whole thing was incredible, honestly. Incredible food, and incredible place as well. There were a bunch of different people. It was a solo trip for me, so I was on my own. But there were families, there were couples, all sorts of people, and I felt absolutely at ease the entire time, really. I highly recommend solo trips, by the way. That's my favourite way to travel. Probably shouldn't say that, but it's my favourite way to travel, really. You can do exactly what you want when you want it. And apart from restaurants where they'll ask you, they probably ask you to confirm that it's just one person, really you won't have any problem anywhere. I was absolutely over the moon for my trip. It was absolutely wonderful trip. I also went on a walk to see in the Westminster Abbey area, so House of Parliament, Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, and then Buckingham Palace. Oh my god, Buckingham Palace, St James's Palace, yeah, St James's Palace, and then the Horse Guards as well, and Clarence House, which we saw from the outside. You used to be able to visit it, but obviously the king is living there now, so absolutely wonderful. Just a lovely walk. I did my research and found, honestly, the best company to do the walk with. It was 2 hours packed with information, with trivia. It was funny. It was she was very knowledgeable, and it was just the best, really. The crowds were insane, but she managed to get us through the crowds anyway, and we'd never were bothered by anybody or anything. We just could see anything and everything spectacularly. I can't wait to go back to London, honestly, and definitely at some point during the summer. I'm thinking August would be best. I would love to go back every Christmas, but I would also love to go back in August, because I desperately wanted to visit Buckingham Palace, and the only parts of Buckingham which are open to the public in spring and summer. So yeah, I would like to go back for that specifically. There are lots of things in London which I haven't seen, even though I lived there for years, so it's always an adventure. It's always fantastic, and I can't wait to go back. Honestly, it was the best trip ever. Okay, moving on from London, what am I reading right now? And then I'm going to talk to you about the purpose of this video, which is talking to you about my 2025 plans. Right now I'm reading Fortune and Fate, which is the 5th and last book in the 12 Houses series by Sharon Chin. It's a fantasy adventure friendship series about a group of six people who set off to report to the king. They've got to travel the kingdom and see if there's malcontent in the kingdom and report to the king, basically, and they form friendships along the way. And these are 6 of my absolute favourite characters ever. They are friends to me, and I think this is the best, honestly, the best series for friendship in fantasy. And this book, the 5th book, is an unusual book actually, because it takes place after the end of the war, really. After the end of the war, and it focuses on nobody in that friendship group at all, but a side character, a secondary character. Yeah, it's absolutely special. It's very domestic, it's very different. It's perhaps my favourite, but way up there anyway in the series. So I'm going to talk more about that perhaps in the new year. At some point I'll do a review of the entire series and talk to you about it properly. But yeah, and so wrapping up 2024, I've read I think 237 books. With Fortune and Fate, that would be I think 237, 238, just about, books in 2024, which is by far my best year in terms of the quantity of books that I read. However, I have to say, I didn't feel as connected to the books that I read in 2024. So one of the highlights of my year really was reading. So I said before, actually I didn't finish my list, but health, my love and my sweetheart, my trip to London, and the books that I read were my 4 highlights of 2024. But yeah, I didn't feel as connected to the books that I read. I didn't have a specific number in mind really, even though I put I think 200 for my Goodreads challenge. I wasn't aiming for a specific number at the end of the year. I didn't have that kind of pressure, but I don't know, I feel like I rushed through books and I didn't feel as connected and as invested in the books that I read as I perhaps usually do. My goal my goal for 2025 is to really embrace the books that I'm reading. So perhaps annotate, perhaps take notes, perhaps just slow down, reread, reconnect with the books that I'm reading and really make them my own. I feel absolutely awful at the end of the year when I can't tell you what my favorite books are without looking up the synopsis of some of them, because I just can't remember. And that's not how I want to live my life really. I want to really savor and the books that I read and make them my own and make them part of my personality and make them part of my friendship group. I want those characters to be part of my soul, and I want to slow down. I want to slow down. I want to read with more intent, more intentionally, and yeah, make them just truly my own. And that's my goal for 2025. So absolutely no number goal whatsoever. If I read less, so much the better. But I really want to just absorb those books, inhale them, and yeah, just make sure that I put quality over quantity always. Yeah, but I have to say, on the other hand, I have to say that I've got better at choosing books which I really love. I think my rating this year, my average rating was 4.5. So I reread a lot, so all that I read really is a 5-star book. But still, I just absolutely loved the book that I read. The books that I read, it's just that I wish I had slowed down. I wish I had just taken more time to read them and just savor them. But yeah, I've got better really at choosing books which I'm really going to love. So looking forward to next year, definitely. And speaking of which, here are my plans for next year. So, okay. Oh, something else which I kind of did this year, which brought me some happiness, is write on my blog. So I've got a blog, magicalemmarose.com, and I kind of dropped YouTube for a while, and I'm not sure what I'm doing with YouTube really. I have no plans whatsoever for content sharing all the time. I don't think it's sustainable for me and my lifestyle and what I want really. It's just I'm too much of an introvert. Speaking is just so exhausting. Being social is so exhausting. Comments are exhausting. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. But yeah, anyway, I kind of wrote on my blog this year, and that was great actually. I loved doing that. I did something called Weekly Treasures, where I talked about every good thing that happened on a specific week, and that brought me a lot of joy actually, just looking back. But it took a lot of time as well, so time away from, you know, just doing it, just yeah, reading or watching time away from that was taken for writing, so I don't know if that's sustainable long term, but in any case, it's there, and that was great as well. Okay, so my bookish dreams for 2025. What I would like to do, actually, what I found worked best for me this year when I did it, was to focus on one author or one series at a time and binge it. That's how I feel most immersed in something. That's how I can really, that's something that leaves an impression on me. When I look back at 2024, the books that I really enjoyed, and the TV shows actually that I really enjoyed, and the films that I really enjoyed, are all because I spent so much time with them. So for example, one of the authors that I really liked in 2024 that I absolutely loved, was a huge discovery for me, perhaps the author of 2024 for me, was Eva Ibbotson. She writes YA romance books, and what she wrote, actually, she died a long time ago, but I just binge read all of her YA romances. There are 5, I think, over the course of maybe a month, and just spending time specifically with her in her world, just reading nothing but her books over a short period of time, really helped, and I loved that experience, actually. When I read Bleak House by Charles Dickens, when I listened to the audio, but when I listened to the audio, it took so much time to listen to the audio. I think it was a 35-hour audiobook, which is huge, and it took me ages to finish, which it should. And I was just so immersed in that. I love spending a lot of time with one single author, or one single series. Actually, I love binge reading, I love binge watching. That's what stays with me the longest, I think. So that's what I would like to do next year. So specific writers I would like to focus on, most of them I've read before, but I have never immersed myself in them in this way. So I would like to do that next year. I would like to make them my own. I would like to make them my absolute favourite writers who I know every single book by. You know, just I could have a talk tomorrow about one of these writers and tell you all sorts of things about the books that I read, and recommendations, and my favourites, and passages and quotes, and I would love to be able to do that. So okay, so first writer is Agatha Christie. I would like to prioritise those writers. First is Agatha Christie. I've read Miss Marple. I think I've read all of the Miss Marple books, most of the Poirot books, perhaps all of them, and that's it. I haven't read anything else apart from And Then They Went On, which is not a Miss Marple or Poirot book. Seeing the Mousetrap on stage just really was just a catalyst for me to I wanted to be an Agatha Christie, not an expert, but Agatha Christie, a huge Agatha Christie fan. I already am, and I wanted to really be knowledgeable about her. Number 2 is P.G. Wodehouse. I've read a few of the G's books, most of them I think, and that's it. And I would like to read his entire oeuvre. 3, Charles Dickens. He's written 16 novels, so at least once a month I could read Dickens or something, or just binge read him. I don't know what I'm going to do, but Charles Dickens definitely. Again, seeing his house and the place where he lived was just so moving, and yeah, I love his writing, honestly. Next is Anthony Trollope. I have never, yes, I read The Warden a few years ago. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I know he's for me, actually. I watched Dr. Thorne this year, which is a Prime Video, I think, a Prime TV show, a Prime adaptation of Anthony Trollope. It was amazing, and I thought, oh my god, this is exactly the kind of story that I like. This is exactly the kind of character that I like. I want more. Anthony Trollope. Next, Georgette Hare, who wrote 28 Regency romances, 12 mysteries, and 12 historical romances. There are 12 months in a year. I'm just saying. Just putting this up there. Trollope, 6 Palliser books, 6 Barsetshire books, and 25, I think, he's written over 40 books, I think, 40 novels total, but yeah, 6 Palliser books and 6 Barsetshire books. Jane Austen, whom I have read countless times, who I wrote my master dissertation on, 6 novels. So 6 novels, plus I always read her Juvenilia, which I think is maybe my favourite part of Austen. Really, it's so funny. plus her letters, plus biographies, plus sequels and prequels and all sorts of things. There's a lot to do. Noah Stretfield, I've read a few of her books, but I would like to read her entire oeuvre as well. Sherlock Holmes, never read Sherlock Holmes, can you believe it? I've always DNF'd Sherlock Holmes, would you believe? I don't know if I picked the right books, the right stories. I've DNF'd Sherlock Holmes countless times. I started wanting to read him. Well, I should say, wanted to read Doyle when I was a teenager, and I have never read Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, so I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I just didn't pick the right stories, honestly. They were so boring, to be honest with you. Next up, Terry Pratchett. I love Discworld. I love the little Discworld that I've read. I would like to read the entire Discworld series. Patrick O'Brien, 20 books in the Aubrey Matherin series. I read the first one, amazing. I saw the movie, amazing. I would like to read more. They are seafaring tales. I should probably tell you actually, Terry Pratchett is fantasy. Discworld is fantasy. Patrick O'Brien, seafaring tales. Miss Reed, I would love to read her. I think I read all of Miss Reed at some point, but see, I can't even remember. That's not me. Please, please just stick with me. 20 Fairy books and 13 Thrush Green books, probably more as well, but in her major series. She's Village Tales, cozy Village Tales. Lucy Maud Montgomery, I've read a few. I would like to read all of them. I've read Anne of Green Gables, I've read Blue Castle, amazing. I can't even remember the rest of it. I can't even remember what I read. This is appalling, honestly. Mary Stuart, 17 novels. I've read perhaps 5 of those. Love her, but yeah. And again, I would like to binge read book series. So really, really focus on series in order and make it a point of reading a lot of books back to back to really, again, immerse myself into the world and to really appreciate and remember, really, the world that I read about. The worlds, I should say, they read about. Also, I have a bit of a mystery project. I would like to constantly, every month or whenever, I would like to constantly be reading a cozy mystery, a golden age mystery, and a historical mystery. Cozy Goldie history. That's my personal book club with me, for me. It's with nobody else. I'm not a social reader, I'm sorry. But I think mystery, well, yes, I suppose mystery is my favourite genre. It feels silly actually to say that because I'm such a voracious reader in all kinds of genres, really. But I read fantasy, I read mystery, I read romance, I love romance. I read cozy tales, I read vintage books, I read classics, I read all sorts of things. But yeah, I think that mystery just has a special place in my heart, and I love cozy mysteries, I love golden age mysteries, and I love historical mysteries. And I would like to always at least have one series going in all 3 of those genres, of those subgenres. Yeah, I would like to do that. And then there are what I call my specialist subjects. I'm not a specialist in anything, I'm not an expert in anything, but I would like to think that those things kind of define me, and I would like to be very, very knowledgeable about them and constantly read and reread them and read sequels and whatever is out there about those topics. So first is Harry Potter. Harry Potter has been part of my life since 1999, has been part of my soul, my personality, my DNA. So yeah, Harry Potter. Number 2, Fantasy of Manners books. I'm going to post a video in 2025, videos talking to you about my recommendations, talking about the genre in general. It's my favourite kind of fantasy, it's my favourite subgenre of fantasy. It's a niche genre, but it's very me. So yeah, this is what I love. This is my essence. Next, Disney princesses. I had, if you read my blog by any chance, I have got a Disney animated a Disney animated classics project, which turned into a Disney princess project actually, in which I would like to watch and rewatch all of the Disney princess films and their sequels and prequels. Yeah, all the time on the loop. That's what I like really. I love Disney princesses, and I would like to be super knowledgeable and super familiar with the entire canon. So all of the major princess films, starting with Snow White, and all of their sequels and prequels and TV shows and everything about those princesses. If I could, if I were a millionaire, I would have a Disney princess collection all around the house, but I am not. So yeah, the films would just have to do. Next, Hallmark films. Oh my god, I am a huge fan of Hallmark as a channel. I absolutely love their films. They are, some of them are so cheesy, and what you think of when you think of Hallmark, definitely. I just find them so comforting. They are comfort watches for me. And I just, right now, for example, I am watching one Hallmark channel movie, Christmas movie, every single day. So, and they bring me so much joy and comfort, and they are so cozy. So I would like to make that a priority from now on, is to watch everything Hallmark since I think they started Countdown to Christmas in 2012 or 14, around that, so about 10 years ago. And I would like to watch all and catch up on all of their movies for the last 10 years. Help. But this is going to be so good. I can't wait. There are gems out there, I promise you. One channel which I really love, and I love the host actually of this channel, I love the woman behind it, Rachel, love her. A channel that I really like on YouTube for Hallmark content is the Hallmarkies podcast, I think it's called. That's Rachel's channel. Let me check if that's the right name. I don't have time to check, but yeah, I'll definitely put the link down below for you. But I absolutely love her channel, and I love her. And yeah, she reviews every single thing that Hallmark puts out, and more content actually. She likes Lifetime as well, that sort of thing. But yeah, she watches everything that Hallmark puts out, and I would like to be that kind of, I would like to be in that group. God, I love Hallmark so much, and I would like to make it more intentional. So intent is my 2025 word, actually, intent. We'll see how that goes. And last but not least is another one of my specialist subjects, and that's screwball comedies. If you don't know what screwball comedies are, they are my favourite type of films, really, apart from Hallmark and Disney. And that's comedies, romantic comedies, in mostly the 30s, 40s and 50s. Think Cary Grant, think His Girl Friday, think The Thin Man Without the Mystery, so Benter, romance, comedy, that sort of thing. This is my niche, this is my absolute catnip, and I would like to watch all of them, be really knowledgeable about them and know them intimately, and just, yeah, just dive in really. So with intent, and you know, just with intent, really thinking about how they affect me, why I like them, just be more analytic in what I watch, and spend a lot of time with my favourite things. That's my #1 goal in life, really, just spend as much time as possible doing what I love. So yeah, that's my hope for you too, next year and for the rest of your years, really. Just spend as much time as possible with the things that you love. I hope you can do that. That's the best thing in life, really. So with that said, I hope you have a fantastic 2025. I don't know yet if I'm going to open the comments on this video, because to be fair with you, to be completely honest, to be completely transparent with you, this is kind of why I didn't leave YouTube, but comments are really hard for me to deal with, and I don't know if I feel like just opening the comment section. Most of you are absolutely lovely, and I love speaking to you, but yeah, it's hard. I don't know how influencers do it, to be completely honest with you. I hope they protect themselves and don't look at the comment section too often, but it's hard out there. So I don't know, I just, yeah, filming this video is a joy unto itself, and I'm so sorry if I don't open the comment section. I just, yeah, and I don't know if I can take it. So I hope you have a fantastic year, even though you can't reply. And yeah, I'm keeping you in my heart, honestly. It's just, I am, all of the joy that I'm feeling right now, I'm just giving it back to you. I hope you have a fantastic New Year's Eve, a safe New Year's Eve, wherever you are, and that the new year brings you love, hope and happiness. I love you, and then we'll see you in the next video. Bye.